In this video of Message Crawler Video Manual, we're talking about name normalization. What is name normalization? Well, you can take your DAT file or any data you have loaded to Message Crawler, and you can find every instance of every name, every spelling variation, every variation with the phone number, and so on. And what we can do with this tool is we can fix spelling issues, we can fix where we just have a phone number but no name. We can make various corrections to our names in the from and to fields and participants fields. So let's go over the bullet list in the PowerPoint. So this tool will help you normalize names. What you would do is select multiple fields on the left. You will select from, to, participants, whichever field you want to look for names in. You will need to specify a correct delimiter for your name. Different software exports names with different delimiters. Sometimes they use commas, sometimes they use semicolons. So you want to make sure that the names delimiter is correct. Then you will click on Create Names List, which will give you a unique list in the column called Original Name. So this is where you'll see every name that's used without duplicates. Now what you can do from here is use the column on the right and say replace with name. And this is where you could specify a new name for a person. So for example, in a slide on your screen, we had a person's name and a phone number, but then in the third row, we only had a phone number and no name. So what I did is I put the name and the phone number in replace with column. So now this tool will run through the DAT file, and whenever it finds just the phone number, it will replace it with the whole thing, so we have more consistent naming throughout the collection. Now, as you work with this, what you want to do occasionally is stop, maybe take breaks. You may have a big list. There is an option to save your work. So you can click on Save as XML. That is how you save your work. This is how you save this table with original name and replace with. You click on Save as XML, you save it to a folder. Then you can close this window, you can go out for lunch, you can do something else. Also, before running this tool, I recommend you save your work as XML as well. This way, when you go back and look at the results, if you see something like, oh, I missed something, or maybe something is not right, you can go back, reload your work, and check what you did, and maybe make corrections and run it again. So always save that XML file whenever you put a lot of work into it. Otherwise, you'll have to do it all over again. You can reuse this XML export for multiple exports. Let's say data coming from multiple phones or multiple sources. Well, this can help you apply same normalization to that data as well. There is an option to export to that file should you want to have this in like Excel concordance or something like that. And finally, on the bottom, you are going to have a button called Replace Names. And what this will do, it'll create new fields for however many fields you've selected, and it'll perform that search and replace. And you will have new names in, well, that field. So then you'll be able to go to grid, analyze it, and then you can use those new names for RSMF conversion. All right, that's been too much talk. Let's jump into Message Crawler and actually do some name normalization so you can see how it works. All right, let's take a look at name normalization. I have a DAT file loaded with various names. Let's go into our name normalization tool and see what names are present in this collection. I'm going to select from and to. I can select multiple fields. I need to select my delimiter for multiple names. In this case, semicolon is fine. I'm going to click on Create Names List. So now we know every variation of every name in this DAT file. So what we can do is correct any problems that we see. So if we had somebody with an email and you want them to be with a phone number, we can make that change in the replace with column. However, I think this is fine. Let's just fix some of these phone numbers. So let's just copy them over, and I'm going to put user 1 and user 2. And let's make it consistent since the process here is to making things consistent. So yeah. All right, so we have user 1, 2, 3. So now this formatting here matches to what the way other users are saved, other names are saved. Now, like we talked about, we can save this to XML if we need to save our work. and then we can come back and reload it. So we can either make additional corrections or use it on a different data set. We can export this to a DAT file, but all we're interested in is just replacing it inside message crawler so we can follow to the next step. So I'm going to click on button replace names, and you saw that something happened on the background, right? But the window did not get closed because this gives you one more chance to save your work. Because if you spend hours of entering this here and suddenly the window's going to close on you, you are going to be upset. So always save your work if there's any chance you want to reuse it later, or if you spend any more than 10 minutes on it. So let's close this. Let's scroll all the way to the right. In fact, let me move some columns around so you could easier see what happened. All right, here are columns. We have from to, and then we have from and to normalized. So now if we scroll to the bottom, you'll see that we have actually did correct our from, which was just a phone number, to have a name and a phone number. And again, same thing here in to. So yeah, the fields were, the data was copied over from to from normalized, from to normalized, and the data was updated. So now you can see the changes you made. You can sort of perform a QC, and in fact you can go back to the name normalization tool. You can pick our normalized fields, regenerate the list, and confirm that what you did was good and there were no problems, bugs, issues, typos, and so on. All right, and that's name normalization. I hope you can see how powerful this could be if you have various variations of names. That's it for this chapter of Message Caller Video Manual. I will see you in another chapter.